Hi, I'm Sandy, and welcome to Life with Sandy. Well, hello. Today is Tuesday. I had to think there for a minute. Today's Tuesday, September 27th, and we do have some birthdays today. Today is Isabella Wow, W-A-U-G-H. I think I'm saying it right, Isabella. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Isabella. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. It's also Andrew's birthday over at Jones Pointed Plate. Today's Andrew's 23rd birthday. Andrew, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andrew. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope you both have a great birthday, and I hope that your class is celebrating with you, Andrew, because you strike me as the type of teacher that the kids are going to go home and say, you know, I have the best teacher ever. His name is Andrew. Or no, it's not Andrew. It's Mr. How do you say? Stetzer. Isn't that strange? I don't think of my children like Danny and Jimmy as Mr. Carico. That's got to be hard for you, Joan, saying Mr. Stetzer. But that's how they're going to, unless they go by Mr. Andrew. Sometimes they do that. I'm known around the neighborhood as Miss Sandy, so who's to know? But it's also my daughter, Christy, and her husband, Aaron, the best son-in-law a mother could ever ask for. It's their anniversary. She doesn't watch my channel, but I'm still going to sing to her because I love her. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy, 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 happy anniversary, happy, 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 happy anniversary. Love you both. I did call her this morning and sing to her. I look kind of frumpy today. I know. I feel frumpy too. I was so proud of myself. I thought I had a really healthy breakfast, and it was healthy enough. And I thought, well, I'm eating my proteins, and I'm steering away from my usual stuff. And I'll show you my food at the end. But I showed a picture of my breakfast to Joan at Joan's Plate, and she said, Sandy, that's a carb breakfast. That's not a protein breakfast. And then I looked back at it and looked it up, and it was all carbs. It's a learning process. But I'm going to try to do better. And I think I did better at lunch, and I definitely know I'm going to do better at dinner. I'll show you my food at the end. I wasn't going to show you my food till next week, but I'll do it sporadically. I'm not going to do it every single day, but I'm going to do it every once in a while. I got my new chair. Look how big it is. The guy, when he was bringing it in, he said, your couch is here. And I said, I didn't order a couch. And he says, oh, I think it's a love seat. And I went, I didn't order a love seat. So he says, well, let me bring it in. It's like a chair and a half. I'll show you a clip after I'm done, and I'll show you the clip of the furniture. I had to really do some rearranging with my furniture because it's way bigger than it looked in the store. But it's very comfortable. It's still kind of not broken. I'm still kind of sitting kind of high, but until I break it in. But I think it matches my other furniture really well. Jim's throne, as we like to call it, is direct to the TV. But I like to sit in my little room in the back and watch TV. I call it my cave. It's just, I love it because, see, now I can start feeding my birds because I don't care if they crap all over everything because I'm not sitting out in front anyhow. So I'm going to go buy some bird food tomorrow. I'm still looking for a coat, so I plan on doing that tomorrow too. But anyway, I like sitting in the back room, and my TV and my chair is lined up with the TV. Well, Jim's chair is lined up with the TV too. So when we got after they put the furniture together and they left, I told Jim, I said, and I knew he'd say no because I know Jim so well. You're not with somebody for like 55 years. Yeah, 55 years and not know how they think. But I said, really, my chair would look better where your chair is because my chair is bigger, and it's like, and so he said, well, it might, but your chair is bigger and there wouldn't be enough room to walk into the kitchen then because, it takes up too much room. I said, no, you just don't want to move. You just don't want to move your spot. That's the whole thing, which I'm fine. This is where I sit. It's a good enough view. I don't sit in here that often to watch TV with Jim, but this is a perfect chair for reading. It's just a very comfortable chair. And so after he left for work, I rearranged things to try to figure out different ways to put the furniture, and it came back to this way. So I think when you see the video, you can let me know if you think it worked. I think it matches really well. What I do think is very funny is that my chair sits up higher than Jim's chair. His other recliner sat up a little bit higher, and so I thought, nah. So I said, I am now the queen and you are just a mere prince. He didn't like that. But he likes his chair. That's all that really matters, is he likes his chair. I'm looking at it and I'm kind of getting used to it. It looks like a leather chair, but it's not. If he's happy, that's all that really matters to me. But it's an electric chair where you got an electric chair. It's electrical powered chair. And so when he hooked it up, he unplugged the phone so he could plug the chair in. And so when I got a phone call, I couldn't get the phone. I picked up the phone and it said, it was dead. It said out of range. I'm thinking, how is it out of range? It's right here. And then I followed the cords because we have to have a strip plug down there. And sure enough, he unplugged that to plug the thing. And the thing is, there was an extra opening on the strip plug. So it wasn't like he had to unplug something so he could plug his chair in. He just was being lazy because that was the closest outlet plug to his chair, I guess. And then yesterday when David came over to my other chair, my niece Kathleen took for her cats. She sent me a picture. How cute. Here, I'll show you a picture of the cat sitting on my chair. They took it to home right away. It was like, that's their chair. She had set it up in her upstairs room. She has a bungalow, so the one room is just like one big room, and that's going to be her office. And then she set up a little corner for her Bible studies. So she said that's where she's going to sit. But the cats were the first ones to sit in the chair. But anyway, when we were going, it just started to sprinkle just before we got to her exit. We were probably within a mile getting off at her exit, and it started to just drizzle. And I told David, I said, well, I hope it doesn't rain hard because, the chair is kind of sad. It's a sturdy chair. It's just really dirty. It's just beyond getting clean. She's just going to put a slipcover or something over it. But so he said, he says, well, it doesn't look too bad. And then just as we were getting off at the exit, there was a major, major, major accident underneath the overpass, between a semi-truck and a FedEx truck and a couple cars. It looked bad. It really looked bad. And so we got off, we went to my niece's house, we brought the chair in, and we got back in the car to leave, and it was like a torrential downpour. It came down, the chair would have been ruined. It would have absolutely been ruined because it rained that hard. There was no way you would ever get that chair dry for as hard as it was raining. And then when we went to get back on the expressway was backed up for like at least 5 miles, like a parking lot, because the ambulances and the fire trucks and all of that were trying to take care of the accident. But it was like, so I told David, I said, boy, we couldn't have timed that any more perfectly between the weather and the traffic. I think we did a really good job. And then David carried the Jim's chair out to the curb. Jim was kind of disappointed that nobody came around and picked it up. I said, no one's going to pick up that piece of crap chair. It was like, it was lost. It was gone. It had seen its day. But he was kind of like half hoping that he could say, see, somebody wanted my chair. No, nobody wanted your chair. Because it didn't rain over here. It just rained where she lives. She lives in Roseville, which is maybe 15 or 20 minutes from here. It was perfectly dry here, but it was like flooded. Her streets were flooded. It rained so hard over there. And then Bertie came by last night. I meant to film her, but she was just going on, talking about her vacation. She went and rented a houseboat in Virginia with 3 other couples. And she was showing me pictures. Her phone takes really good pictures. It was like they were gorgeous. And she said she had a really good time. So much so that they're going to do it again next year. She said they had so much fun doing it. The bad part is when she was driving, some kind of hunk of cement fell off one of the trucks and she couldn't avoid it and she hit it and she bent her rim and she couldn't find another rim, and it was like a disaster. And it ended up, it cost her altogether to replace the tire, which was a free replace because she had some kind of insurance on the tire, but she had to get a new rim. It ended up costing her almost $800 between the $500 for the tire, and then she had to buy a rim, and then it didn't match the rest of her rims. But when she got home, she found out that they could bend it back into place or fix it or whatever. So that cost her another $150. And then she had to get an alignment, obviously. So she had to do that. So, but she says other than that added expense, she did really have a good time. But she's working more, so we were hoping we were going to do some water aerobics, but she doesn't know that it'll fit into her schedule because she's working so much lately. So that's not going to work. My foot is feeling better, so I'm going to try to start on some little walks. I'm not going to go like a whole mile my first time. I think I'm just going to do a half mile and see how my foot goes because it's really feeling really well, and I don't want to mess it up now. Like I said, I don't like wearing shoes in the house. It's not anything for sanitary reasons. It's just that I just don't like, well, I don't like wearing shoes in general. I just like being in my bare feet, but I don't want to ruin any progress that I've made so far. So I'm going to do that. Today is day 2 of staying on track. I still haven't eaten my dinner, but I did eat breakfast and lunch. I'm feeling pretty good. What amazes me about me is when I'm doing good, I'm doing good. But when I'm doing bad, I'm doing bad. So I just think that if I can get into the right, it's hard to get my mindset back to the right track and the right way of thinking. It really, really is hard for me to do it. And I think that the first couple of weeks are going to be the hardest for me. But once I get back into the groove, then to me, it seems like it's the easiest thing in the world. When I was eating healthy and doing fine, it was like second nature to me. I never had any issues with thinking, well, I shouldn't have done, like, do I really want to have some sweets or something like that? I was fully capable of having a slice of cake on a birthday celebration and then just moving on from there and not going crazy going afterwards, which obviously I've been having some issues with that lately. So I'm really working on that. I'm going to try to eat more protein. A lot of you have suggested a nutritionist, which I think is a very good idea, because here I thought my oatmeal was going to be like protein, and then I find out it's carbs. So I have to start looking up some protein options because I do think, I know that if I eat more protein, I won't be as hungry. It'll satisfy me and keep me fuller longer. I was surprised that with such a heavy carb breakfast, I really thought that usually carbs make you hungrier afterwards. And it really didn't make me hungry because I did get up and eat my breakfast at like a normal time. I ate my breakfast at 10:30 and then I ate my lunch about 3 o'clock. Really wasn't that hungry for lunch, but I thought, well, if I wait too much longer, then I'll binge on something. So I had like an egg salad sandwich and some tomato and cucumber in that. But once again, I thought it was a carb smart bread, and then I look at it and it's got carbs in it. So I think bread in general is always going to have carbs unless you get gluten-free, I think. I'm not sure, but I've tasted gluten-free. I'll do without the bread. My daughter-in-law, Samantha, they're not married, but I still consider her my daughter-in-law. She's can't eat gluten, so she's given me a couple of her treats, which a couple of them haven't been too bad. But if that was all that was offered, I'd have no problem swearing off sweets because they're not the best. They really aren't. I did try the one time. I tried to make her own lasagna with gluten-free lasagna, pasta. That was a complete disaster. That just didn't turn out right. It looked awful. She did eat it, but I know she was just eating it to be kind. But anyway, I guess that's it for now. Can't think of anything else I wanted. I haven't started reading my book yet. I want to get back into reading my book again. I know I said I was going to sit outside no matter what the weather is, but it's been damp. It's been like misting and, spitting rain and things like that. So I haven't really been outside to read. I'm just fighting off the urge to turn the heat on because right now it is 56 degrees. See, this is the difference between 56 degrees in the autumn and 56 degrees in the winter. Because in the autumn, I'm fighting not to turn that heat on. But like if it's winter going into spring and it's 56, 57, I still got my heat on. So I don't know why. I think it's a different, the moisture in the air or something. Even though it's a 57, I think it's a different type of 57. Kind of like when you're in Las Vegas and it's like 105 degrees. And they always say, well, because it's a dry heat. You know what? It really is different because when I was there when it was 105, I felt like it was like in the 80s here. I mean, because it is we don't have, no, we don't have as much humidity as in the South, but I mean, we do get our share of humidity. But it really was a difference because it was a dry heat. It still was hot. It was still hot, but it wasn't unbearable for me, at least, during that time period that we were there. So I guess that's it. We watched Survivor. I don't know. I'll give it a couple more weeks. I did like Amazing Race. There wasn't anybody that bugged me yet on Amazing Race. Big Brother, I was kind of glad that Taylor won. I mean, she had her ups and downs through the season, but I always think that, like the argument they always say, well, when the people get to the end, well, they didn't win any competitions, and, like they didn't win a head of household, they didn't win a veto, and here they are with nothing. They were like a floater through the whole game. Well, that's a pretty good strategy if you can float through the whole game and get to the final two, because that's Taylor did win a couple competitions, but if Alyssa, let's say, would have made it to the final two, I think her strong argument would have been she picked the right people to float along with so she could make it to the end. And, like all the strong people that won all the competitions and won all of the prizes and stuff like that, they're sitting in the jury. So was their strategy that much better than hers? Because obviously Taylor's strategy was pretty good because she didn't win the final. They brought her to the final two because they thought that she was going to be easily beatable. But, anyway, so I was happy with the turnout with that. I was surprised that she won America's Favorite Player. Oh, no, spoiler alert, but by now you should have watched it. I really thought Michael was going to win America's Favorite Player. If I had to pick, I really did think it was going to be Michael. So I was a little surprised that it was Taylor. And the thing that annoyed me the most was the fact that when Julie was in the studio with the cookout from last season, she had no problems being in the same room with them. And they're out in the public. They're out all about. But her argument for not being in with the jury and the final three or whatever was because of COVID restrictions. I would think that the safest people for her to be around at that point would have been the people that were in the jury house and the people that were in the Big Brother house, because they weren't exposed to anybody. But anybody else, whether it was the studio audience or if it was the cookout that came to see her, for their input into the game, they're exposed to everybody in everyday life. And so they were more of a risk of getting Julie sick than the other people. So I just think that, and I know they put them in the backyard because maybe they wanted to keep them away from the audience. That's fine and dandy. But then why didn't Julie go in there and just let the people in the audience watch a monitor? Because I have been to some TV shows that when you're sitting in the audience, you're not really watching it. You're watching a monitor because their cameras and everything are in the way. You can't see anything anyhow because of the cameras. So you watch a monitor. That's like if you go to a concert. Do you really watch the people on the stage? You can't see the people on the stage. They're about that big. You look at the monitors to see the people. I mean, it's a whole different atmosphere because I do like going to live concerts. But, that's my rant for the day. So let me show you what I had to eat. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Oh, be safe, be healthy, be kind, all that good stuff too. I almost forgot that. Well, our furniture came, so there's my chair, and there's Jim's chair. Very comfy. It's way bigger than I anticipated, though, but we'll make do. Way bigger than I anticipated, but I think it still blends in with our furniture choices. I'm wondering what your opinion is. Let me know. For breakfast, it's going to be 5 points, 0 for my oatmeal, 0 for my tea, 1 point for a quarter cup of 2% milk, 0 for a banana, 3 points for my slice of toast, and 2 points for a teaspoon of butter. So that's 5, 6 points, 6-point breakfast. For lunch, I'm going to have an egg salad sandwich, some cucumber, tomato, and grapes with an unsweetened iced tea. And I'm going to have the Carb Smart 5-seed bread for my bread. So it is 2 points for the 2 slices of bread, and 2 points for the tablespoon of Miracle Whip. So it's a 4-point lunch. For dinner, I'm going to have a salad with some cottage cheese and a little bit of pineapple. The salad's got lettuce. It's a romaine lettuce blend with cucumbers and tomatoes inside of it. I have an ounce of deli turkey for 1 point, an ounce of Polish ham for 0 points, my low-calorie poppy seed dressing, 2 tablespoons for 3 points, and 3 points for my half a cup of cottage cheese. So it is a 6-7 point dinner. So I ended up the day, and 0 for my tea. So I ended up with 17 points for today.